a citizen voice on the second to last day of COP21. We're here in the Green Zone again, anticipating the re-release of the draft report. And Oliver's here. I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell a little bit about what brings him to COP.
My name is Oliver Marchand. I have a background in atmospheric science. I've worked for the German and Swiss Weather Service, and I also have a background in writing portfolio management software. I've worked 10 years as head of IT of an asset management company. And I am now combining these two things, and I've just recently started a company called Carbon Delta. And Carbon Delta, it assesses the climate risk exposure that companies are facing. We are using that for investors so that they can check in their portfolio what the climate risk is. It enables them to measure and lower the climate risk in their portfolio.
And the focus would be mostly on municipalities, businesses, and what kind of institutions would want to use your stuff?
So any large investor should today be interested in climate risks of their money. So that would be banks, asset managers, pension funds, insurances, family offices. There's lots of large investors out there.
And those are the investors that we want to get involved in funding the work that is so prevalent here, in the Green Zone. Can you give us a web address and any other vital information so that people listening can connect in with your work?
Sure, you can sign up for our newsletter, and some of the data we have is publicly available, and it would be www.carbon-delta.com.
And that Delta, D-E-L-T-A?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of people here, and everyone is here to try to help out.
Yeah.
What impact do you think one person can have, on generating climate solutions for our planet?
So, of course, my hope is that Carbon Delta will essentially profoundly change the way climate risk is perceived in the financial industry. Because truth is, climate change risks aren't that obvious in the. They're not that much looked at in the financial industry. And I think if we change that, it will in turn, because finance is sort of the root of all corporate activity, it will profoundly, hopefully, also change how climate change is perceived within those companies. That is our theory of change.
And I think that many people have seen finance as a big stumbling block or as a big opportunity, but we have heard so much about carbon pricing and businesses taking action, and lots of dollars, like we're talking trillions of dollars, that really need to be funneled into these programs.
Maybe one more thing. We always talk about climate risks because I think it explains what we're doing very well. But from an investor standpoint, every risk that you've identified is a chance for future profits for companies that embrace climate risks.
And as an elementary teacher, I'm kind of curious, when you were young, what did you do that made you ready for what you're doing now?
I think it's two things. My mother, who had a strong influence on my green side, and then also as a young child, I spent many hours on the computer, and that enabled me in turn to write computer programs that assess climate risks of companies.
So being geeky pays off.
I think today, yeah, very much, yeah.
Well, we're thrilled to have you as part of our network and look forward to more collaboration in the future. Oliver, thank you, and signing off from the Green Zone.
Thank you very much.
On day number 9 or 11, depending on how you count.